Hey, this is Josh. I'm here in the gaming hall at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo, and I'm with my new friend Brenden, who is going to walk us through a short version of his new game. Hey, Brenden, what can you tell us about it?
So this is Land Sea. Land Sea is a near-future sci-fi game. It's set in 2040, and what happens is an aquatic alien race that had been hiding here in the oceans for several years emerges out of nowhere and attacks coast all over the world, wreaking havoc and destruction. We're now 10 books in. This actually started as a book series.
Okay.
So actually, here. This is the first book, Splashdown. The author is Blaine L. Pardoe. If you're a Battletech fan, you obviously know him. He's one of the very first authors of Battletech itself.
Gotcha.
So he's from that franchise. And cover art. So what happens in this book, this is kind of the introduction primer to the story and the lore. Really kind of short story with the lore. 2040, we get invaded by aliens. After, we've gone to war with Russia and just basically everything that's crazy going on in the world right now, it's kind of happening in this universe. As a result of it, the Asher, which you can see here, is one of the pieces of tech that came developed out of the fighting.
Okay.
So this is actually seen from the book. The opening scene of battle actually takes place on Guam. And this is one of the Marines actually defending Guam.
So we're looking at mechs versus sea creatures.
Well,
monstrous sea creatures.
Mechs, not so much. Yeah, they're mechs, but they're not that big. So the line is, this is all to scale right here. So here's your average human. It's only about 8-9 foot tall. So not a super, it's more like power armor.
Gotcha.
And it's a very grounded, hard sci-fi. So if you like being realistic, it very much is so. The weapons, everything that's done so far, all the thought process is based on really what's being developed now and reasonably predicted to see happen in the next 10-15 years. So, the Ashers aren't some nuclear-powered walking tank. It is a battery-powered battle armor. Fighting desperately against an enemy like anybody's ever comprehended before. When you think sci-fi and you think these aliens, you're thinking, oh yeah, lasers and shields and all this stuff, and we're just fighting this uphill battle with these guys that are just teched out to the max. Their tech is bioengineering. So you can see the aliens. So this is their main, I guess you can call their trooper, the crab. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
And it looks like somebody took a scorpion and a shrimp or a crab and put them together.
Yeah.
So big boy. But their weapons are the physical body, or their weapons or basically bodily functions.
Right.
They have water squirters, like a Predator jet, like you see like a water cutting table.
Yeah.
They have that as a bodily function. They can generate a organic acid that they can spray. They have a gas that is a flesh-eating bacteria that can dissolve you in your place in seconds. They have cryogenic weapons. They have sonic weapons. I was doing a game last night. We're talking about the sonic weapon. Remember the Hulk with the Edward Norton Hulk, the big sonic cannons and the Humvees? Yeah. They basically had them on a scale that can drop a skyscraper in a short blast. Because part of this whole invasion, they are wrecking cities. They are destroying the coast and stealing all our raw materials. What? We don't know. They're just harvesting all the metals, all the steel, and everything they can get a hold of.
Okay. So you mentioned Battletech a second ago. I definitely see some inspiration as far as the game mat goes. It looks like it's a hex grid.
Yeah. But slightly different. So you can see the emboldened areas.
Yeah, okay.
So it's zones. So instead of moving individual hexes, we're moving based off of
zone. Go zone to zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for example, the JLTV, obviously you can tell this is a future rendition of the current Army's JLTV.
Sure.
But it's also kind of enough visual aesthetic. It's kind of like our Warhawk.
I gotcha.
Of the game. So your movement's based on zones. So, for example, this guy we have our movement speeds of 1, 2, or 3 zones depending on run, walking, or sprinting.
Sure.
So it's simple as moving 1, 2, 3 in a sprint.
I gotcha. Okay.
And you move within that zone.
I actually like that better. That's a little more streamlined.
It's streamlined. It gives a little bit more dynamic feel to the gameplay. And what I love about this is it's not an initiative or activation type system. This literally feels, as you get into it and you get the rhythm, it feels like you're playing Command and Conquer. It's all simultaneous action.
Those are words I like. Yeah.
So instead of having initiative going back and forth, you got a movement phase, you got a attack phase, back and forth, this ping pong battle. We use what's called ACE, abilities, conditions, equipment. Based on what you do with these action cards, you move up and down this tracker.
Okay.
So, for example, every unit has a character card. Everybody starts hearing one. Based on what you do, costs impulse. Impulse is 3 to 6 seconds of action.
Okay.
So something as simple, we'll go back with the movements. He sprinted 3 zones up to here. So right here back to the card, you can see that it's 3 movements. You can move 3 zones at 1 impulse. So you do your movement, and you would move them here. Something longer, like some of the aliens' weapons, take more impulses, so they'll move further up the track. So at any time somebody's moving, shooting, something's always going on, and there's no order to it. It's like playing a real-time strategy game because things are moving in so many different directions.
Okay. So you can't always bank on just getting through the next guy's turn.
No.
That's not the way it's going to work.
You can get into, you can have something as crazy happen as these guys have, one of their other weapons is a spiker. So it's basically like these bioorganic darts or spears. I love, the larger one I love when an infantry hits them and go, I call it the Washburn treatment.
Okay.
They think the end is strength. Washburn,
I get it,
right?
yeah.
A big bioorganic, like bone spike just spearing a dude.
Okay.
I mean, that's the kind of action that happened. And it's right as that guy's trying to move, he takes that spear.
Right.
So there's no initiative. So your guy dies on this impulse. Oh, you don't get the time to retaliate.
Yeah.
So turn orders based
I like
on,
it. You have to think beyond just my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn.
What's going on here? What's going on here? What can he do here? What may happen here? The acid hit this truck. So last night during the first phase of this battle, the JLTV actually got hit with acid.
Okay.
And completely melted the driver's side off, killed the driver. So it turned this vehicle into basically a stationary shooting point.
Yeah.
Throughout the night. I mean, the gunners were still shooting.
Gotcha.
And still rattling off with the guns, but they lost the driver and they lost the whole driver's side of the truck was melted off.
I gotcha.
And it's all at the same time, another guy gets hit with a spiker dart, and the spiker darts actually have a poison that acts as a sedative. So actually knock a dude unconscious for several impulses. So a guy got hit by a dart, a couple of these darts, and was knocked out for 8 impulses. So that's based on what's going on and what these guys are taking. That's 2-3 times that poor guy can get shot at before he recovers.
He even gets to do anything. Yeah. Okay. But again, it embraces the chaos of what an actual battle would look like.
And it's not, and one of the great things is we're still doing some final tweaks with the rule set, but it's not meant to be a balanced thing. When you're playing this as the humans, you should be feeling every move is out of desperation. You're on your heels.
Okay.
Because these aliens, they feel no pain. They don't know fear. They don't know apprehension. They will sit there and have limbs blown off, destroyed, and they are still
And as long as they can keep going, they'll keep going.
Everything they've got, they're coming at you, and they will not stop till you put them down for good. So
you mentioned rule tweaks and how it's not really finalized. What's it like to try to develop a game? Like that's a pretty big undertaking.
I kind of came in late in the game after the first set of rules were coming in, so I kind of fell on it by accident. I'm just a fan of the universe. Started reading the books.
Okay.
And last summer, the Patreon for this actually started rolling out.
Okay.
And they were starting to release the STLs. So the great thing is all this will be available in STLs.
Make
all
it at
this
home.
terrain.
Yeah.
So if you want to print it at home because you got a printer, you can do that. If you don't, another company is going to be manufacturing the physical minis.
Sure.
And producing hard copies, all that stuff. So you can print yourself or make yourself. So you've got that option, that flexibility. Yeah. And it's not going to be bogarted behind a paywall. You're going to have the ability to print and play what you want. And because there's such limitations and it's such an open universe, you can do so much of what you want. I mean, you can see here with the aliens, you can paint them things however you want. And you have so many color combinations, and it has so much fun. You're not bound to, you're playing as this faction, so this is kind of their color scheme.
They better be this color. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very open. I mean, this is military units, and you're thinking logically with actual hard sci-fi, why would I go running out in a battlefield with a red, white, and blue tank, I'm going to have the camo.
Because the rule book said you had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no rules again. It's make them look how you want. I mean, there's going to be like weird deformations like this. This guy right here is our boss. And he's kind of their battlefield commander, their main head honcho. Normally, they're black in this pearlescent black color. Okay. But this is just one random kind of deformation that popped up during Hawaii that you see in the graphic comic. They just finished and produced a comic, and this is one of the guys on Hawaii that they come across. So you come in these weird things, and what's crazy is, humanity's starting to get things, and humanity's very fractured.
Yep.
So, nobody's talking to each other. Nobody's communicating.
That doesn't feel real at all.
To the point where, at one point we actually knocked down one of their ships, and the U.S. and Britain both try to recover the tech, and they're basically standing there at gunpoint with each other. And do I put aside my professional differences or personal difference against, what was once our strongest ally, and we share the tech and help each other for the benefit of humanity, or do I follow orders? So there's a whole storyline to that.
Yeah.
And it's just the sacrifice that humanity is having to go through, and the seeds, and not just sci-fi action, but political thriller and just a general struggle for humanity makes it a very fun universe. But also the game is so grounded in the lore. What you would read about in a book will play out almost exactly like this to some extent in the book. It's going to feel like you're playing this game and the book's coming to life through your gameplay.
Awesome.
So there's going to be no abstraction, this faction comes into this new tech,
and it
throws things at a balance, so now we got to nerf the new tech and these guys' stuff these aliens come up with a weapon that's going to melt a pilot in his cockpit. Well, guess what? It's exactly what it's going to do in the game play on the table.
That's cool, man. Well, Brenden, this looks awesome. I'm really excited to see this game keep going. Where can we find you, and where can we find the game on social media?
So the guys behind everything is Creative Juggernaut. They have some small social media presence. One of the biggest things we have for communication right now is actually through the Patreon.
Okay.
It's just look up Creative Juggernaut for Land Sea. That's where all the deliverables for this is for subscribers. We have a Discord as well for Land Sea. I'm in there. The authors, some of the other guys on the team are there. So we're sharing gameplay tips and discussing the gameplay, the lore, and kind of the best place really outside. There's the official fan group. So there's really not an official heavy corporate presence.
Gotcha.
The fans are driving and running everything. So, and that's kind of how I ended up in this. It was, hey, we need somebody that knows 3D printing.
I could do that.
I can do that. I know what I'm doing with this. I've created enough stuff and failed in different ways to I can make things happen, and I've got such a variety of printers already for my farming that I knew what I was doing. So I started with the minis, and it was like, hey, can you start designing the terrain? So all the terrain that's currently on the board is actually all but the Jersey Bears was all designed by me.
That's awesome, dude.
And then now it's because the playtest group in here in Huntsville that's been working with me the last few months, we've actually provided more feedback than anybody else in the country that's been playtesting this. And the scenario that I've been working out and we've been playing out this weekend is actually one of the first campaigns that they're going to fully flesh out for an official gameplay campaign.
That's awesome. Huntsville on the map.
Definitely. And it's actually in a few of the books with the lore.
Yeah.
The Rod from God program actually gets revived. And they build a mini space station with a railgun to try and counteract the aliens.
Sure.
Because the conflict, all our coastal launch sites are gone.
Right.
So they set up a launch site here and start launching out of
Try
here.
to get it from space.
So, that's one of the funs of it, and they're using that realistic. Well, where would we go if we lost Canaveral, if we lost Vandenberg, if we lost Edwards?
What would we do next?
Where would be our next play? And this war is so intensive. By 9 months into this war, you're lucky to get, these battles are happening. The Air Force is out of ordnance. It's truly out of ordnance. It's like, hey, these guys here in Huntsville managed to make 4 Hellfires this month. Where are they going to need them most? And you got 4 Hellfires to get distributed to the Air Force to, So it's desperation. So guys are, and one of the things that the creators were talking about is, how do we incorporate that? So what would you see? What would be something plausible? Are we going to be able to remake demilled weapons in a museum? Or,
right.
So a lot of it, that was one of the conversations I had with them. It's like, yeah, probably can't do that. But you know what? 3D printing's far more intrinsic into it. So, guys are just going to start 3D printing their own weapons. We're going to use that kind of tech. Yeah. And it's a tech that's already there and thinking about stuff. I mean, to the point where the tech so the weapons, they've got lasers, we got railguns. But it's not that whole, pew pew, I got the little blaster that can magically generate all this energy.
Yeah.
Those kind of weapons have power cartridges because we don't want to drain the batteries on the power armor.
Because then you have
so we basically have cartridges with a massive capacitor in it, and that's what's powering these weapons.
Right.
And it's not this bright green laser burst. Think about what we're doing now with lasers. It's just an infrared laser, a high power focused infrared laser.
You can't even see it. Yeah.
So you don't see it. So in the books, you're just like, the guy didn't know he was actually hitting his target till you start seeing, the crab melting.
Right. Yeah.
It's that little thing and the immersion of it, because you're like, because I'm a really big fan of the harder sci-fis that are more grounded in this. So this really will suck you in because you're like, oh God, okay, that's really possible.
Yeah.
You know, and some of the stuff, it's fun. We made a joke that the aliens, one of their big things is, and this is another book that's out. It's actually modeled like an intel report on the aliens. So we actually have data on the infant aliens, what they look like, and their sizes, and so there's some pretty good artwork. That's the fox. So basically, a primate and a snapping turtle.
Okay.
Fused together. But these guys are their kind of first invasion. They're called goblins. They're absolutely nightmare fuel sand flea. They're only about 3 inches big, but they deploy them by the hundreds of thousands in these giant snails, with a clamshell on their back, and they attack anything that moves or makes sound. So one of the opening scenes in this book is you don't really get to the battle and the fighting till the end. So it's all these little weird stories of just these weird events that start happening, and they don't seem correlated to anybody
until it's too late.
It's too late because they're not putting two together. Like, this weird crab, shoots a water jet at a family on a beach and kills the family.
Yeah.
Or a lamprey's eating the metal like you've never seen before, is eating the metal off the superstructure on an oil tanker.
Yeah.
Or an oil derrick. All these things are happening. Nobody's putting two and two together. They're like, hey, aliens are here. They've been here for years and doing all this weird stuff. And then it all just goes to hell. So these snails come to shore in LA. And it just plays out in your head. You're thinking about it. Makes you think Independence Day. Everybody's underneath the alien ships. We're partying with the aliens. And the clam shows up. And these things just go nuts.
Yeah.
And just people are being torn to pieces by these swarms of these things.
Yeah.
So, it's that.
To me, the little 3-inch ones would be much more terrifying than the giant ones. Like, it's something about that. I don't know, that creeped me out.
Yeah, it's these aliens are just total nightmare fuel. When you really think about it, you start reading the books, you understand it. It's like, oh God, like these things just grow. Like they just have vats and they just start popping them out like candy. The book where the ship crashed, the ship gets breached and a bus of them just pouring out by the dozens.
Yeah.
Start attacking the Brits and the Americans that are right there. It's like, what do? You're just in an overwhelming, every encounter, every fight is just sheer desperation. People are dying. It's the hard realities of it. And one of the fun things is Blaine will sit on his blog and be like, hey, who wants to be a canon character?
Yeah.
You get about 3 lines in the book and you get ripped to shreds, but hey, why not?
Yeah. I'm still down. Sign me up. All right. Well, dude, thank you so much for showing this to us. Corey's going to grab a little more footage before we head out, just some of the cards and whatnot. But you guys check them out online. A miniature war game that you can play at home without having to invest in someone's massive company. That sounds awesome. So hit them up on Patreon, become a subscriber, become a supporter, and play what sounds like a pretty awesome game right at home.